Today's show is all about, you guessed it, the 4-speed. Back when muscle cars ruled the streets, if you didn't have a third pedal, you were either a grandma or you had a pocket protector. If you wanted the most respect, you had 4 gears instead of 3.
Now, Mopar, Ford, and Chevy all had primary builders for their 4-speeds, and other than a few design differences, they all pretty much operate the same. And even the modern 5 and 6 speeds, they all can trace their roots right back to the good old 4-speed. Now, one other thing that all these 4-speeds have in common, they're a kick in the butt to drive. And if you're restoring an old muscle car, odds are you're going to end up with one of these. But what's the difference between them, and how do you know which one is right for you?
If you're working with a Mopar, you've got one stock option, the A833. It came in different configurations with different input shafts and tail housings depending on engine and body style. The earlier models can be identified by the cast iron case. They're a good overall performer, and rebuilt units can be found for under $1,000.
Now, Ford offered up several options. The T10 top loader is easy to identify because, as the name implies, everything loads in through the top. Now, this makes the case a whole lot stronger. Now, it was designed to replace the Borg-Warner. Now, this transmission came in 2 basic styles, either a wide ratio or a close. Now, a lot of guys think that this refers to the actual throw on the shifter, but it doesn't. What it actually refers to is the gear ratio changes between the gears. Now, say you're driving a wide ratio 4-speed. You can rack it up to about $6,000, grab second gear, but your RPMs are going to drop all the way down to, say, 2,800 to 3,000. That puts your engine below its peak horsepower. Then it has to work to get back up. If you're driving a close ratio, you rack it up to $6,000, grab second gear, it may only drop down to $4,000. That means that your engine is still in its peak horsepower. Equates out to a whole lot quicker quarter-mile times.
As for General Motors, you had several makes to choose from. Their Borg-Warner was the same as Ford's T10 that Rick was just talking about, but with a different bolt pattern for the bell housing. You could also get a Saginaw or one of several Muncies. You can always tell a Borg-Warner by the 9 bolts in the side cover, where a Saginaw and a Muncie will only have 7, and the Muncie will always have an aluminum case. So how do you know which one of these is right for you? If you're not doing a numbers matching restoration, let your wallet and how much horsepower you're dealing with decide for you. Choose a heavy-duty model for your higher horse applications. Otherwise, a cheaper light-duty will be just as fun to drive. You can pay a little more for a close ratio, but a wide ratio will still give you the feel of a good old 4-speed.
If you are doing a numbers matching restoration, then be sure you do your research before you lay down any coin. Now, the best way to find out if your transmission is correct is by simply tracking down the OEM part numbers. Now, Muncie's in particular can be ID'd by the casting numbers in the side case, the tail shaft housing, and the main case. Now, also don't forget to look for the date stamp and count the number of splines on your input and your output shafts, and count the number of rings on the input shaft. Now, all of these things need to match up for you to have a 100% numbers matching transmission.